Hey crew, I've got the key, which is a lovely work of art, to that Ferrari 296 GTS. And this week, we're gonna see what it's like to live with. I'm gonna start by unplugging it from where I had it topping up the smallish battery overnight. You don't really need a whole overnight charge, just a couple hours. Or you don't plug in the car at all. You just let the gas V6 replenish that battery while you're driving it. Now let's take a look at spacing in my driveway, which is 16 feet wide by 19.5 feet long. I've got the Ferrari parked about an inch from the edge and also an inch from the Bluey family, sitting next to my 26 BMW M2 CS, which is right there at the edge as well. And with that spacing, there is plenty of room to walk between the vehicles. Both have power folding door mirrors, which does help. We could get a wagon or a double stroller through for kiddos. The front end of the Ferrari is just back from the gutter at the head of my driveway, and if you did not equip the front end lift to the 296, then you would absolutely need something like curb ramps that are set up here to help with clearance, but this car has that, so it's not necessary. And at the back, there is going to be room, lots of it, in front of the hedge so I can walk on the path to my front door. As you can see by all the water on the car, it was a misty morning here, so of course the top is up, and that does mean it's a little more complicated to get inside the car. The vehicle does have an unlock on approach feature, but I've been hovering around it for so long that it's locked itself, so I need to fish the key fob back out, hit the unlock button, and then sink my hand into the door opening slot and pull the door out. That is the first defined notch of opening, and I could make my way in there, but because of the wide sill, it would really be easier if I could swing it out one more notch, which I can. And now, getting down in, I'll stick my butt on the sill before I then scoot it over while ducking my head, so the process isn't all that bad. Now closing up the door. Good thud. Hey cabin crew, thanks for joining for this day in the life in the Ferrari 296 GTS, aka 296 convertible. And in this video, I want to see what it's like to live with a bright yellow Ferrari convertible that is a plug-in hybrid. So let's fire it up. Oh my gosh, the chimes, they're so loud and they just keep going. Anyway, if the car is very cold, like it's been sitting all night and you fire it on, it is going to turn on the twin turbo V6. But if it hasn't been sitting for too long, then it will start as an EV. And that's great for keeping your neighbors happy, but let's hear the idle even if the V6 is running. Well, it was running for a sec, and now the car is warm, so the engine is shut off, and this is the greeting your neighbors will have. It's not going to disturb too many people, especially with the V6 running for such a brief period of time. Before we head out of here, I want to show you where I would place the items I bring with me every day, like my iPhone 17 Pro, which is sitting on the wireless charging pad, and it just fits this phone perfectly. So if you've got a bigger phone, it might not fit. Inside the console, I do have my slimline wallet and a protein bar, and not much else would fit in there. And then the key fob, which I want to look at as much as possible, can be viewed in this slot right here behind the window switches and the convertible top controller. My sunglasses are protected in this felt line cubby for the door, and I've got my Ray-Ban Meta sunglass case as well. The only place for big items like my 32-ounce water bottle was sitting here behind the front passenger seat, which this would be a problem if this was the optional carbon fiber chair, because this could bang into that, but thankfully it's just leather lined. I also have my GoPro accessory case behind that. So you can, in theory, find a place for everything you would need to bring with you. Now I'll throw in my seat belts and make sure the front end is lifted up, which just takes a moment here. We're good. Pulling the right paddle puts us into drive. The parking brake has automatically been released. I can roll on forward, turn the wheel, and easily make it past my neighbor's basketball hoops on my way out. Seeing as it has stopped misting, I'm not going to waste any more time with the roof up. I'm lowering that right now. And chime to confirm that that's done. A few seconds later, we're good. We've got the full open top experience and the blast of cold air as the roof went down was quite lovely, but it is a chillier morning here as evidenced by the jacket. So I want to warm my seat a bit. So let me hit this pad to allow access to some of the features like seat heating. Swipe up, confirm that, and really start to enjoy. It would be nice if in addition to the seat heating, you had steering wheel heating. Maybe it is an option, it's just not equipped to this car. Instead, I've got this carbon fiber wheel with the yellow center marker. Sporty. And it would also be great if, like some other luxury-oriented convertibles, there was a neck-warming air scarf for when the top is down. But alas, I can make do, because when the top is down, I obviously have infinite headroom, unlike when the top is up, where I feel a little more constricted at 6 feet tall with a longer torso. The seats I will not be complaining about, though. They're ergonomically shaped, holding my body perfectly with just enough padding and good adjustments to those and to the tilt and telescope of the wheel. So it's a great driving posture. And as far as my drive modes, right now I'm in the e-Manatino hybrid mode, which is going to default to EV functionality as long as there is charge left in the battery, which is rapidly draining. It says we only have 1 mile of range left, and it started out saying it was 13 or 14 miles. It max will say 15 or 16 miles, but that is according to the European testing cycle. Real world here in the US, you're getting like 7 or 8 miles of range. It's just enough to get you in and out of your neighborhood silently, or maybe to and from the highway if you're close enough to that before it will trigger on that gas V6. Fortunately, as I mentioned earlier on, you can replenish that battery because it is so small very quickly when you're in the performance e-Manatino mode here. There also is the normal Manatino settings over here. Right now it was in wet because it was damp. We can go into sport, which is kind of the normal mode. And as far as the electric drive operation goes, it's unlike some EVs where you have adjustable levels of braking regeneration. You do get some regen braking when you're off the throttle, but it's not a great deal of it. And then when it's time for the gas engine to turn on, say you're still in the hybrid mode, it's a pretty smooth transition, though an audible one. And in the name of simplicity, there are other reasons why this car is so easy to daily drive, like having all the core functions found on the wheel, like indicating. That's a control right here for the right, and for the left, we've got the wiper settings. There's a pad to flick the windshield wipers once on the back, and up front you have additional settings for that. I talked you through the drive modes. On the left hand side are your headlight adjustments, and so the only thing you have to take your hands off the wheel for is to adjust the climate control, which is just to the right of the wheel. So you're focused on driving pretty much all the time. The only thing that can be at odds with that is having to use the touchpad controller to adjust the infotainment, which is found here and not here. So I press this to make the panel live, and then I use the home button and the slider to work through that. It's not the worst thing in the world. I just prefer physical buttons, which you can get on 25, 26 model year Ferraris. Now to test the turning radius, wheel cranked, making sure this Hyundai doesn't hit me. That's a great turning circle, thanks to the rear wheel steering. And now I'm going to enter this driveway and raise the nose as I do so, just to make sure we're good, as I make my way towards Raised by Lions Coffee to meet up with Mobile Mama. And I'm gonna back into that parking space right there, so let me swing on over before I pull back on the gear selector into reverse. That prompts the backup camera, which is high resolution, but there's an issue with its placement. One, the mounting of the camera is really low, so I can barely make out where the lane markers are that I want to get into, even though I do have trajectory lines. And then two, every time I turn the wheel, the spoke bisects my view. So I'm not actually positive where I'm going at all times. I've got to stop, move the wheel, move the wheel. Okay, and now I can scoot on into the space. And I've misjudged it because it's so low. So it's forward. Then I'm just gonna rely on the mirrors here, and then I will have parking sensors to chime in and tell me when to stop. Now there isn't a park, so I pull in both paddles and then turn off the car, and I have to make sure that I lower the front end. And it's gonna chime at me the whole time, making me nervous. Okay, I'm gonna go get coffee. Oh, goodness. What's up, baby?
I'm gonna show you my trick.
Your trick?
Yeah.
What? Oh.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
Her trick is how fast she runs?
I like it.
Well, that was fun, seeing the wifey and kiddo while I'm getting my coffee, which I took to go along with a sandwich, because I couldn't help myself. Now, before I hop back in the 296 GTS, I want to talk about the styling a bit, because I'm a big fan of how the 296 GTB and GTS look. It's sporty, but it's still approachable. And this one is, of course, clad in a highlighter yellow Gallo Infernale paint, which I'm not typically a yellow supercar or any car person, but this one is pretty fun. The only thing I don't love about it is that the color of the car doesn't match the yellow of the Scuderia Ferrari shields or the prancing horse on the wheels. So it's just odd having multiple yellows on the car. I do like the choice of the matte black finish for the 20-inch wheels front and rear. And the choice of matching black painted brake calipers was smart. One thing I do love about hardtop convertibles is that when the top is up, they just look like a coupe. And of course, with the top down, they can look even better. It's a ravishing silhouette on the 296 GTS with those raised up haunches. And getting here to the back, it's a clean finish with the thin LED taillights, perforations for the air to pass through, center exit exhaust, prominent diffuser. There's a tinted glass window into your mid-mounted V6, and then an additional spoiler behind the front seats to cut down on wind buffeting. Again, I would have perhaps chosen a different paint color to live with every day, but I'm a big fan of this car's design. Now, as I get back in, carefully, much easier without the roof in place. I need to find a spot for my coffee, and there is a cup holder right here with extensions to keep it secure, although if my passenger had their own cup of coffee, they would be holding it because there's just one cup holder. That time, starting up without the gas engine. Away we go. But there is a noise we need to make, something we haven't heard that's not a chime and not the V6. The horn sound. If someone is driving recklessly and you need to use your horn in the 296, what are they going to hear? It's a bit harsh, honestly, but gets your message across. Now let's turn our attention to performance, starting with a real-world 0 to 60 test. I've got my race box set up here to record. I'm moving into the time trial mode, which is all of the electric and gas power at my disposal. I then need to move into the race Manatino setting, putting the transmission into manual mode and clicking forward on the power start, which is launch control. Now, holding my foot on the brake, pin the throttle, hold the revs, let go. With wheel slip, oh my gosh, there's 60 in 2.96 seconds. Rear wheel drive is putting in work. Whee! And it has to, because this car has to find, oh, nice blow off noise, has to find a way to put 819 horsepower and 546 pound-feet of torque to the ground through an 8-speed dual clutch automatic, which I now have back in auto mode, just to see how it behaves on its own. Certainly holding on to the gear I want and downshifting when I want to. Woo! Listen to that blow off. And listen to that V6. It's a good noise. The carbon ceramic brakes doing their job, and the brake-by-wire system having excellent feel. The same granularity of feel that I had around town I have here in a performance context, with superb stopping power. Oh, the steering is wonderful as well. So light, immediate, and precise. The car turns in beautifully and rotates nicely with the rear drive dynamics. Super stable. Loads of feel and incredible power out of the hole. You know you've got that turbocharger spooling, but then immediately when you're on the throttle, that instant electric torque is giving you the initial punch. Phenomenal handling car. Oh, the power is ridiculous. It's so fast. And yes, it's louder with the wind noise, but I kind of love the air rushing around my head. Create some more visceral experience. The squirrels trapped in the engine bay. Let them out. I love their noises. Gosh, the way it loads up in corners. Such insane G-force. It's delicate and yet brutal. What a winning combination. All that's left now is to use the manual functionality and actuate these giant carbon fiber paddles that are fixed to the column, not the wheel. So very satisfying to shift and run it out to that 8,500 RPM red line. Oh, the rush is wonderful. What a car. And a convertible that's heavier than the coupe with less structural rigidity. And yet it can do this. The transformation from daily driver to canyon carver is just unbelievable. How it can do both things so well. What a rush. Oh, traffic. Bummer. They let me by. More traffic. Darn it. He let me by too. I wonder if it's the fact that this car is menacing and yellow that gets people to go, I'm just gonna get out of the way. Whatever it is, I'm thankful. With that now out of my system, I want to see what a highway drive is like with the top up. So I'm going to quiet up and listen in. Get a little bit of wind noise at the seams, mostly tire road noise is coming in. Don't hear much from that V6 now. And this is a real benefit of a hard top convertible as opposed to a fabric roof that allows a little more of the outside noise into the cabin. This is pretty darn quiet. It's just like a coupe. So if I needed to, I could commute in this car and stay relaxed, although I wouldn't have any driving assistance features like adaptive cruise control or steering assistance, even lane departure warning or blind spot monitoring. And when the top is up, there is a blind spot from the headrest back to the rear of that cowl, and that's when that system would be helpful. The mirrors are pretty wide, and you do get a decent letterbox view out the back, but yeah, some of those systems would be useful. In just a few minutes, I'm gonna pick up my mom because I wanna see what she thinks of this car as we go get lunch. But on my way there, I wanna try out the JBL sound system equipped to this vehicle, and you do have wireless Apple CarPlay that I've paired up here. So let me cue that up, which is going to take over the center of the screen, and then using the touch trackpad to make my way over slowly, eventually to, this is kind of distracting to be honest, Spotify, which is going to load slowly. Come on. And now, having finally found that, I'm going to use the volume scroller on the back of the wheel to move it up to, that's about what, 60%, maybe 65. Well, I would say it's a testament to the insulation of this vehicle that I did not realize how quickly I was traveling there for a while. Back to the sound system, it was actually more impressive than I expected. The punch of bass was considerable, and the volume was also substantial to block out most of the outside noise. The clarity in the highs and mids wasn't terrific, but you know what? It gets the job done. Hey, Mom.
Hey, Miles.
Welcome to the open top experience of the Ferrari 296 GTS.
Yes.
How's the hair doing?
Oh, we're doing great.
Well, you've got it cinched back,
yes,
so.
yes. And I
fine.
have a scarf.
Oh,
just
okay.
in case.
Just as a backup plan, that's
Yes.
good. Have you ever been in a Ferrari with me?
I have been in the Ferrari SUV. The Puro
pure-
Sangue.
Yes, you've been in that with me, that's right.
Yes.
And that was your first Ferrari. What a strange introduction to the brand as a passenger.
I think so. Yes, yes.
Because you weren't with me in the 812, right? That's too long ago. You were living in Colorado at the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, but that, I mean, among Ferraris that I've driven, that's way up there for me. The 812 is amazing. This is pretty great though as well.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
So what do you know about this vehicle?
I know it's expensive.
Yeah, that's a fair thing to guess with a Ferrari. Yeah, this car starts at $366, and this one as tested is $487,000.
Oh my gosh.
Almost $500,000.
Some add-ons.
Lots of power, and you know, at any point in time, we can go from you hearing the V6 to
Silence.
silence.
Stealth mode.
Yeah. And I mean, it's pretty stealthy, even with the top down.
Yeah.
Right? You can hear the wind buffeting around here.
Right.
Not a lot of it's making its way down in here.
Yes, we can talk.
It's been quelled.
Yes.
And I think part of that is because of the design of this spoiler back here. This is not on the GTB,
Okay.
because it's a coupe, of course. And so I can actually, I think, make it even quieter when I do this.
Oh,
That did get
possibly.
quieter.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. Because the glass came up. This is
I
with it
see.
down.
Yeah.
A little more wind.
Yeah, less wind
Little
noise.
less wind.
For sure.
Okay.
Very nice.
Would you say this is a comfortable car to cruise in?
I would say so.
Yeah?
The seats are lovely. They're very firm,
Mm-hmm.
but not uncomfortably firm.
Yeah, my description was that they had just enough padding.
Yes.
Right? The shape is good. There's just enough padding there, so you're not
Exactly.
like legs aren't going numb instantly.
Right.
But yeah, they're not
But they
couch
shouldn't-
cushions.
They should not pull anything out.
No.
We need this.
So I mean, obviously, it being a bright yellow car, that's a standout thing. Do you think the interior is notable as well? Is there anything in here that you're impressed by, not impressed by?
Well, I think the interior is great because it's a little more sedate from a color standpoint.
Yeah.
We do have these,
Right.
which are quite
The accents,
quite nice.
little yellow accent here on the wheel as
Yes.
well.
Carbon fiber,
Uh huh.
always
Always good.
fabulous.
It's here as well.
Yeah, and real metal,
Yeah.
which is nice. Thank you for that.
I love the design of this because it's like kind of simulating the old gated manual transmissions, but of course
Yes.
everything is electronic, automatic now. So yeah, it's a style thing. Have you seen this key? It's absolutely beautiful.
The key looks just like a cigarette lighter.
I thought that too. I was like, where's the way to flick it up and ignite it? This is the key fob. It doesn't have a panic button on it though, so I was gonna say you have to yell "get back" in Italian, which I don't know how to say, but when I learn, I'll be yelling it at people. You've also got a screen there, which is kind of glary right now, but you can, okay, in the shadow you can see our performance information. If you go
Yes.
back, you can navigate us places.
Navigation.
Yep. Audio, media.
It's got seat heating.
Yeah. Seat heating. Should have seat ventilation as well, because my seat has seat heating and ventilation.
Yeah, I think with the top down, it's hard to tell if you're getting ventilated from the bottom
Yeah.
or the top.
That's true. Yeah.
It's very beautiful, and I like the way they elongated these
Air vents.
air vents.
Yeah.
They are really
Cool.
nice.
For sure. Yeah, I would say, as I mentioned before, the only complaints I have are related to all the touch functionality. Like the way to adjust the mirrors. It's kind of like your Tesla, to be honest. Having to touch the screen and then indicate which mirror I want and then to hold my finger on the... It's just unnecessary.
many
Just give me a
steps.
physical control for that.
Yeah.
But beyond that, it is rather beautiful, and leather and suede and carbon fiber aplenty.
Yeah. No, it's got all the appointments you would expect from a car like this.
Like this, costing this amount of money,
Yes.
with a
Costing
prancing
this
horse
much.
badge on it.
Yes.
That can absolutely move as well.
Oh yes.
See that boost build.
I don't think. Yeah, there's not going to be anyone passing you on the left.
No, definitely not. Do you like the sound of the 6-cylinder?
I absolutely love it.
You do?
The note is incredible.
It does sound rather exotic
Yes,
for being a V6. I think Ferrari did a great job with that.
I think they did.
I like it. Now, here's a question. Could you drive a bright yellow car?
Oh boy, you'd really have to be very circumspect about your behavior because there is no
Anything
flying
you
under
do.
the radar.
Oh, it's that guy. It's the guy in the yellow Ferrari, right? They're going to pick you out of a lineup instantly.
They certainly will.
Yes.
It almost speaks to, I worked hard, I bought this car, I want you to know this.
That's fair. I also did use a yellow Ferrari 355 in Need for Speed. Okay, now switching over to comfort.
Okay.
We talked about the seats. What do you think of the ride? And before you answer that, I realized I have not put on the bumpy road mode yet.
Oh.
This is the softest setting. They call it bumpy road mode. The softest setting for the adaptive dampers.
Okay. Wow. Well, I mean, I don't feel like it's bumpy at all. I love feeling the road. Any sports car, really.
Yeah.
But this one in particular has that very strong connection to your road surface.
Yeah, especially
So-
through the steering for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for more comfort than that, what would you do?
You wouldn't buy something in this class of car, I don't think.
Okay,
You'd
I
find
agree.
yourself into a GT, a Grand Touring vehicle. If you wanted top down, you've got the Bentley Continental GT, something like that. But yeah, I mean, for something that it's a supercar that happens to be a convertible,
Right.
you have to expect a certain level of road connection and excitement and energy through the chassis. But this one doesn't punish you for that. You
No.
get that, but you also have some compliance from the suspension.
Yes, absolutely. Are you hungry?
I am hungry, and it's
Well,
a good time for that because we've arrived at Rogers Gardens for the farmhouse. I can't enter here, so I gotta figure out where I can enter. This is the right driveway right here for us to go to the farmhouse for a bit of lunch. Let me raise up the nose, make sure we clear.
yes. Follow that old lady.
Oh, that is one thing about this car. It chimes for absolutely everything. It chimes
Really?
in reverse, it chimes if the door's open, it chimes if the front is open, it chimes when the nose has been lifted, it chimes when the top is going up or down.
Just listen to
It
me
chimes when you have
all
had
the
a
time.
moment of quiet for too long. It just decides it's time to chime again. Well, I hated it, didn't I?
Looks that way.
This poke bowl was just awful. That's why I wish there was more of it. Now let's test the practicality with a run to Costco to benefit the charity Families Forward. Well, it certainly wasn't my biggest shopping trip ever, but that's because the Ferrari 296 GTS really only has one big spot for cargo, and that is in the frunk. And this frunk is low, so for heavy things, if you have low back problems, this might be difficult. I paused my loading for a second because Parth, a MilesPerHr fan, saw me doing my thing and wanted to say hi. So if you're seeing this, Parth, thanks for the support. Anyway, status update. I'm trying to fill out the bottom before I load up from there, so I was looking for an item that would perfectly fit in that piece, and I think I've finally done it. So let's see. Yes! I've used my finest moves to get absolutely everything into this frunk. And now for the moment of truth. It fits! Oh yeah. Man, I really don't want to have to use up the front passenger seat with the toilet paper, so is there another way I can make this work? Let me try to squeeze it between the seats. That fits! Whee! So after returning my cart, like a responsible shopper, I can confirm that the Ferrari 296 GTS is Costco approved. With a minor inconvenience. It is time to refuel this 17.1 gallon tank, and the 296 GTS is EPA rated at 20 combined MPGe, and if you factor in the electric range, it's 47 combined MPGe. And that figure seems anecdotally about right, but I can't tell you exactly the fuel economy I've been seeing during my time because I can't find that figure anywhere in the menus. And at current fuel prices of $4.19 for the required 91 octane gas, It's gonna cost me about 76 bucks to fill this tank, but there's capless fueling to save me time. Well, crew, at the beginning of this video, I pondered what it would be like to live with a bright yellow plug-in hybrid convertible. And after quality time spent behind the wheel, I can say that with a few exceptions, it is fantastic. The versatility, performance, and efficiency of the hybrid powertrain make the 296 GTS a terrific daily driver. Coasting in and out of your neighborhood silently, leaping away from stoplights, and being able to easily recharge the battery while driving is a great mix. Other highlights include the comfortable seats, quiet cabin with the top up, and the color does seem to encourage slow traffic to move right. Nothing's perfect though. The 296 doesn't make a great bulk buying companion with restrictive storage, and the touch controls, some of which are now fixable with a retrofit, are tedious to use. But by far, the biggest nuisance is the myriad of loud chimes and alerts the car emits for just about every task. Long story short, it's quirky, but it's brilliant. I hope you guys have enjoyed this day in the life, and I will see you again next time.